You're watching Toon Army TV. Welcome back to the channel. This is your honest match review from St James's Park this afternoon. It finished Newcastle United 0, Brighton 3, and we got exactly what we deserved. Not good enough, not acceptable, second best throughout the whole game. Brighton fans, if you're watching, before you throw pelters at me, you deserve to win the game. You're by far the better side. You should easily have won by more than just 3 goals. And the way we played today, well, it's very, very concerning. Yes, it's only 2 games into the new season, but you think, was West Ham just one of them where, yeah, they're a poor side and we got quite fortunate? Maybe so. You're playing a Brighton side who, yes, they got beat 3-1 off Chelsea, but there was the warning signs that they were going to come up and give us a game, and they certainly did. You know, we lost the game in the first 10 minutes of that first half. We just looked pedestrian. We looked very, very pedestrian. Passengers, if you like. Stagnant. Just not taking ownership, not taking responsibility, expecting something to happen. And there was just no real chemistry, amongst the Toon selection today. There was just nothing really to suggest that we were going to get anything from the game. Very, very slow, lethargic. And if you start like that in any game, then you're going to get punished time and time again. Now, we had a chance today of potentially breaking a club record, which hasn't been broken for around 22 years, and that is win our first 2 opening games. We beat West Ham, but if we beat Brighton, then we would have broken a record which was set by Kenny Dalglish, but unfortunately, we couldn't do that. We got caught unstuck this afternoon by a very good Brighton and Hove Albion side, who should have won by, I would say, 4 or 5 goals, maybe 4 or 5-1, because Callum Wilson had a big chance in that second half. But do you know what was really embarrassing in that first half? The fact that we didn't even register a shot on target. Brighton had 2 or 3, and that first half alone, they could have walked into the dressing room 3 or 4-0 up. Tariq Lamptey, their right back, he had us on toast. He owned us in that first 45 minutes, or you could say 58 minutes for how long he was on the pitch for, because he got a good 13 minutes, 14 minutes in the second half, and he literally had us on toast. We couldn't live with him. And you look at the whole side, that was selected by Steve Bruce. I don't blame him, picking the same side that beat West Ham 2-0, because you don't change something that's not broken. And, Carroll and Hendrick, they deserve to stay in the side, because Hendrick, he scored and made one against West Ham, and Carroll actually played quite well, but I had some concerns with the same starting 11, because for me, is Hendrick a winger? No, he's not. And you're playing a 4-4-2. You don't play Hendrick on the left wing, for goodness sake, or the right wing, wherever he put him. And then you've got Andy Carroll starting alongside Wilson. I understand why he done that and tested it out, but that's not going to work in the long run. For me, I would have started Carroll off the bench in the second half and played Miggy from the start, and that was proven when he come on in the second half and was started to open up a little bit. But that first half was just not acceptable by us, by a Toon fans' point of view, and we're very, very lucky not to have gone further behind than 2-0. I think we're very, very fortunate. And you look at the keeper called Darlow. I mean, I can't blame him for the goals. The defence was just non-existent, very poor. The warning signs were there when we played Middlesbrough and Stoke in the pre-season, that we conceded 5 against Middlesbrough and 1 against Stoke, that we need to do something with this defence. We need to sort it out. They need to be drilled. Also, too many disciplinary issues. Players getting yellow cards, cheap yellow cards. Jamal Lewis, Jamal Lascelles and Shelvey. It just wasn't our first half. And midfield, well, non-existent. Players just weren't doing anything. Hendrick didn't do anything in the game. ASM, he played half an hour. He wasn't great. He didn't have his best game in a Newcastle shirt. He went off injured. Something just wasn't right with him in the game. Yes, he was at fault for conceding the penalty after, 3 minutes. Very poor by him and his standards. But listen, we started off very, very poor, and we got punished. Up front, well, Wilson, he was isolated. Obviously, he's playing alongside Carroll, but we just didn't get the ball into him enough. We just didn't really cause an attacking threat in that first half. And when you don't do that, you will get punished against a club like Brighton, who need to register their first 3 points of the season. We should be looking to start off on the front foot against Brighton. No disrespect to them. We know we've got a poor record against them. We know that we've signed some players, and we should be looking to start on the front foot and score that first open goal and try and go from there. But for me, it was a complete opposite. Going into that first half, and listen, for me, the game was already lost. The game was lost in the first half. It doesn't matter what we did in that second half. The game was lost. And even if we did attack like we did in the second half, it wasn't going to be great, and Brighton were always going to pick us off at the back because of the gaps that we leave. So going into the game, Brighton got off to the perfect start. Lamptey from that right-hand side, he beat us, all ends up. He was running into the box, and unfortunately, Brighton won a penalty. He went down in the box. St. Maximin clipped him. Yes, it was a penalty. Very poor by him. He should be a bit more patient, ASM, and maybe do something different. But yeah, Mobai steps up after a VAR check, and they score 1-0 after 3 minutes. And then Brighton also have a controversial goal, which was ruled off after 6 minutes, but then it turned into a goal after 7 minutes after the VAR checked it again. And they were saying that Trossard looked offside. He wasn't. Mopai made a really good diagonal run, and he just slotted it into the bottom right-hand corner to make it 2-0 to Brighton. And I'll be honest, watching the game, I thought the game was done there and then. If you start off that poorly and go 2-0 down against any side, whether it's Brighton or Burnley, they're just going to sit in and they're just going to pick you off. And we got off to the worst possible start. It was very painful to watch from a Newcastle fan's point of view. And then this is where the frustrations come in, where Jonjo Shelvey, he took down, was it Mopai? Oh no, Lamptey, and he got a yellow card. Deserved yellow cards, just getting all frustrated. Ben White was a definite threat for Brighton. He was creating chances, trying to get them that third goal. Jamal Lewis, he was also booked for taking down Lamptey. You shouldn't do it, man. Just stay on your feet. And then after 32 minutes, Ryan Fraser, he is on for ASM. And then obviously to try and shore up the attack, try and get forward. We looked a little bit more threatening with Fraser, but not too much. Lamptey was still causing problems, for Brighton. Mopai, trying to get shots off. And it just was, and Connolly as well, just was that sort of, first half that we had, were just second best to everything. And then Jamal says he got booked, for a very similar offence. Taking down Mopai, who, yes, he's taken him on for the team. But, communicate with the defence, man. Do something. Talk. There was no talking. It was just stand there and do nothing. That's literally what that first half was. And then Darlow had to save from Tariq Lamptey. Otherwise, it could have been 3-0 just before half-time. And that was it. Half-time, 2-0 Brighton. We didn't even register a shot on target. Brighton got to a free. Fair play to them. They could easily have been 4-5-0 up. They were that good. And we were that pedestrian, that bad. Going into the second half, Miggy come on for Andy Carroll. So we made our second sub of the game. For me, Miggy should have started over Hendrick or someone like that. But you might just say, well, you're saying that now that, you're 2-0 down, but it could have been a different story had you been 2-0 up. For me, I think Miggy is a better player. I really do. He's more of an attacking threat. And he showed it in the second half. We looked a lot more positive, more livelier, without really doing too much to trouble Ryan in the Brighton goal. Trossard had a shot from outside the box. Good save by Darlow, very easy. Lamptey was off after 57 minutes, the only positive of the whole game. Their one attacking threat, which looked as if it could have got him a goal. He deserved a goal in the game. I thought he played really well. Definite player who could easily play for England one day. He's definitely going to challenge Trent Alexander-Arnold. Remember the name, Tariq Lamptey. And Callum Wilson, he has our biggest chance in the second half. Ball gets whipped in. Brighton defence, they misjudge it. And Wilson, wow, he just puts it over the crossbar. For me, he's got to get that on target. Very poor by his standards. If he gets it on target, it either hits the crossbar, it either hits a post, it either hits the keeper and he saves it, or it goes in the back of the net. From how close in he was, he should score it. 2-1, potentially, we can get back into the game, but just wasn't to be. Brighton, they hit the post with Connolly, and that's where the troubles were, picking us off at every opportunity. And then they also hit the post with Trossard, so they could easily be comfortable 3, 4, 5, 6, 7-0 up in the whole game. That's how many decent chances they had. And then Brighton, they started to slow down a bit. Joe Linton come on for Jonjo Shelvey, who for me was poor. Joe Linton, when you're coming on, you're just like, Joe Linton offers nothing in the game. And, he didn't score. So that tells you everything you need to know. And, Brighton just pick us off. And Connolly, he makes it 3-0 to us. He just bends it into the bottom right-hand corner past Darlow. Absolutely no chance. The defence are asleep. Well worked by Brighton alongside outside the box, and they were just working it and just really causing us loads of problems. Just a really, really frustrating afternoon. Yes, Brighton did go down to 10 men, but it didn't really matter. We're 3-0 down, and it's just a all-round crap performance by the Toon. Not good enough, and we're going to have to learn very, very quickly that in this league, yes, you can win one game, but you've got to stay consistent, because if you switch off for one moment, then you do get punished, and you can't, even against the bang average sides. And I'm not saying Brighton are an awful side, but they're a side that we should really, have been looking to get 3 points from, and fair play to them. They fully deserve that 3 points, and I wish them well for the rest of the season. But for us, Steve Bruce has got some massive selection headaches for the Morecambe game, because we're going to have to bounce back very, very quickly, and the games are not going to get any easier, with Manchester United and, Tottenham, Man United coming up in that order, Burnley. Honestly, we've just been shot back down to earth. That's all it is, really. We've been shot back down to earth, and we're going to have to try and we're going to have to respond. That's what we'll have to do. We're not a bad side. We've had a bad game, and it normally tends to be at St James's Park a 3-0 defeat, isn't it, when it goes badly wrong. But yeah, fair play to Brighton. 3 points. Man of the match for us, nobody. Nobody had a really good game, in my opinion. And fair play to Brighton, the better side won. So thank you so much for watching. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. You hit the notification bell. Put your comments down below. Let me think that we did actually play bad, and let me know if you have different opinions to that, because we really did play bad in the game. But yeah, I'm now going to drown my sorrows and grab a drink. And yeah, we'll be back tomorrow for the Morecambe preview, and I've got a special guest on the channel. So thank you so much for watching. Keep it tuned, and I'll see you later.